Our next guest is an Emmy-winning actor you know from his work on The Crown and Peaky Blinders and movies such as Challengers and The Mastermind. He's hosting Saturday Night Live this weekend with musical guest Lily Allen. He stars in Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery, which is in select theaters now and streams on Netflix on Friday, December 12th. Let's take a look.
You here to take my church away from me?
Oh, no.
Good. Okay. Call me Monsignor Wicks. I see you've met Martha.
Martha? No?
Monsignor Wicks, I woke up early to polish the silver. It was a bit blotchy.
That'll be fine, Martha.
Father Judd, you are welcome here.
Thank you, Martha. I was actually just saying to Father Wicks.
Monsignor Wicks.
Monsignor, right, sorry. And sorry for saying Jesus. Whew. This is going great, I think.
Please welcome back to the show, Josh O'Connor, everybody. I'm very happy that you're here in person. We zoomed back at the pandemic, but I got to tell you face-to-face backstage how much I love Challengers.
Yeah.
Just fantastic movie. One of my favorites of last year. And now you're here in the building to host SNL.
Yeah, I didn't know it was in the same building.
It's
I just turned
fantastic.
up. I had this like strange feeling as we approached, and I was like, "Is it tonight?"
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm not ready. But
how do you feel? How are your nerves on a 1 to 10?
10.
Yeah. I think that's actually a good place for them to be. I
Yeah.
wouldn't tell people to be less nervous than that.
Okay, that's good.
I think the course of the week will help, like, bring your nerves down, but it's a
Right.
good place to start
Okay,
there.
good.
Have you talked to people who've done it? Are you the kind of person who wants to have as much prep as possible?
Do you know what? I did speak to one friend who I called, and at the top of the call, I was like, I just need to be settled and be told that it's fine.
Yeah.
And he started off brilliantly. Started off by saying it's absolutely fine, it's very relaxed, and the writers are brilliant, and the cast are great, and they'll sort of do everything for you. As he went through the week, night by night, he must have forgotten the brief. And we got to like Saturday, and he was like, and then there's a dress run, and that's sort of fine. But then they changed the skits, and like there's edits, and then I had a panic attack before that, and I was like, dude, like you're ruining it. So he didn't do it
I
very
think you're going to be fine.
Okay, good.
I'm very confident, but I do want to talk to that friend and tell them they did a bad job.
Please, thank you.
This is very exciting. This is the third Knives Out mystery.
Yeah.
And as we saw from the clip, you play a priest.
I do, yeah.
You've played one before.
Yes, I have.
And Emma, here you are. That's and you actually, you had a brief altar boy time in your life, but it turns out not good at it.
No, I thought I was brilliant at it. I mean, yeah, I kind of grew up an Irish Catholic, and thank you. There's the one.
There was somewhere between like super happy for you and also scared and shocked. Yeah. Either is it Irish Catholic or is terrified of them.
Like, by the way, I get that. Yeah. I was an altar boy, and I think it was sort of my first foray onto being what I thought was being on stage. And I was fired for smiling too much.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I think a smiling altar boy is like what more religions need, you know? Like, hey, like, isn't this more fun than you think you're having?
Yes. I think my mum said to the priest, like, he's smiling in the presence of the Lord. But I was smiling because I could see my brothers, and it was funny.
So maybe it was they were right to fire you.
Yeah. They were.
All right, so there's another, I mean, we do have, like, look, there's a priest in this era of, you know, Andrew Scott, the hot priest, I'm Fleabag, is also... He's also in the film.
Yeah.
So you have to act, you have to be a priest in the presence of hot priests.
Yeah.
I mean...
It's a nightmare.
It's a nightmare, yeah, okay, good. I wanted to make sure that it was as much of a nightmare as I thought it might be.
It's a total nightmare. It was like the elephant in the room. Me and Josh Brolin, like, trying to do our best priests, and Andrew just sat there very kindly.
Yes, a very kind person.
Very kind person, but also, you know, the best priest ever.
Yeah. We saw you with Josh Brolin, Glenn Close.
Yeah.
Very funny, very lovely people.
Yeah.
I heard some early scenes with Josh were particularly challenging. So much so, did you have to ask for another run at it?
I had to have another run at it. It was the first time I shot with Josh kind of came a bit later. I think he was shooting Dune, which is quite
Yeah, and you
a
can't
big
be
movie.
you can't be mad when people show up late because they were doing Dune.
Yeah, right. And we did this scene which is in the movie where he confesses to me. It's very funny.
Yeah.
And Josh Brolin is very funny.
Yeah, he really is.
But we started on my coverage, and we did a few takes, and Ryan seemed like fine. We turned around onto Josh, and it was like witnessing the best performance I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And we completed the scene, and that night I called Ryan, and I was like, we have to go back. And I need to do better.
Yeah. That's
yeah.
very, I will say it's very sweet when a director allows that.
He's amazing.
That's
Ryan's
great.
one of the most special people.
Was he like, I also thought you could do better?
Yeah, he was like, it's already happening, Josh. Yeah.
It takes place in upstate New York, but you mostly shot in London, which is whereabouts you're from.
Yep.
Was it nice to be close to home while you were working?
It was a rare pleasure, yeah. It was sort of spend so much of our time traveling around the world and not being at home that it was a dream. And I'd kind of go home every night and be in my own bed, and that was a rare thing. But then also seeing people like Glenn Close and Mila Kunis and Kerry Washington and Brolin, all coming over and being tourists for a little bit. There's something really nice having Hollywood A-listers, experiencing your city
Yeah.
and enjoying
Is
that.
there a burden? Do people like go to you and ask like what to do and where to eat? Like I would imagine that would be the only part that I would not love.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe they might have done once. You very quickly realize with me, I have nothing to offer.
They're like, I hate where Josh eats.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, like Pizza Hut. But yeah.
Do you? Is it true? I would imagine one of the nice things about being home. Is it true you have a garden? And is this a new passion or an old, lifelong passion?
I don't know. I think I suppose it's a new passion. As kids, me and my brothers used to be really interested in ponds and frogs.
Yeah.
So we would dig a hole in the garden, with or without permission from parents.
Yeah.
And then fill it with water, and frogs would arrive. So it sort of started with that.
England sounds like a magical place.
It sounds crazy.
I feel like if I dug a pond, I don't know if the frogs would immediately show up.
Okay, I will say it's not.
I
immediate.
thought this story was like we were dumb kids. We thought frogs would come, and instead it's like they showed up right away.
They did. They were there. They looking for a
They were
home.
like, we have been awaiting for this day.
The O'Connor boys are here. Wow.
Oh my God, this keeps getting better. Hey, you're the altar boy that laughs.
Right. But then gardening. I mean, I guess I love nature, and I really like gardening. I don't know if I'm very good.
Yeah.
And the real truth is that I do really love gardening. But gardening is a kind of full-time thing. You have to check in a lot, and I'm not home very often. So I have a very brilliant, proper gardener friend who lives in a village nearby me, and she comes in.
Gotcha.
And I come back, and I'm like, look at all the great work I've done.
Yeah. Do you ever try to pass it off if you have guests? Are you kind of like,
Without doubt.
oh, you don't?
Sometimes I try and pass it off to her. I'll be like, isn't that flower that I planted a few months ago looking so great? And she's like, I did that.
Have you ever, what's like the best thing you've grown that you've actually consumed? Or is it not that kind of garden?
No, it's a little bit that kind of garden. I tend to a couple of fig trees. I didn't plant them, they're already there.
Yeah.
But I look after them.
Yeah.
And this year we had a great crop, which is surprising and worrying for England. It's kind of climate stuff.
Yeah.
But we did, and the figs were great.
Great,
So-
good fig.
Yeah,
It's
really
like
good
when
fig.
people wanted figs, they were like, head over to Josh's. Like, did the word get out?
Figs or ponds. Yeah.
Yeah. He's got figs.
Figs and frogs.
Frogs. Figs and frogs.
Figs and frogs. Is
That's
better,
where
yeah.
you told Brolin to go. There's a new restaurant called Figs and Frogs. He's like, I'm not going to ask
It's
Josh
my
anymore.
house.
Hey, congrats on the film. Best of luck this week. Break a leg.
Thank you.
Josh O'Connor, everybody. Wake Up Dead Men and Knives Out Mysteries in select theaters now and available on Netflix on Friday, December 12th. Don't miss SNL with Josh and Lily Allen on NBC and soon on Peacock. We'll be right back.